General Prescribing Guidelines for Pregnancy and Breastfeeding. Welcome. In today's tutorial we will talk about how medicines should be used safely during pregnancy and breastfeeding, a time when even common drugs can affect the developing baby. Why pregnant women may need medicines. Pregnancy doesn't stop health problems. Women may still need medicines for conditions they already have or for new symptoms that show up. Since almost everything the mother takes can reach the baby, we need to be careful and informed. Fetal development and drug sensitivity. One important thing is timing. A drug can be harmless during 1 week of pregnancy but harmful in another. So understanding fetal development stages is essential. Stage 1, blastogenesis, first 2 to 3 weeks. In the very early weeks after fertilization, the embryo is just a group of fast-growing cells. Drugs at this stage may have no effect or may cause serious early damage because everything is just beginning. Stage 2, organogenesis, days 14 to 56. During organogenesis, the baby's organs like the heart, brain, limbs, and kidneys start forming. This is one of the most sensitive phases, and unsafe medicines can lead to birth defects. Stage 3, fetal period, week 9 to birth. After week 9, the baby is called a fetus. Most organs are already formed, so this phase focuses on growth and development. Medicines at this stage may cause growth restriction or affect how organs function. Placental transfer of medicines. The placenta is the baby's lifeline. It supplies nutrients, oxygen, and hormones. But that also means many medicines taken by the mother can pass right through and affect the baby. How drugs reach the fetus. For a drug to affect the developing baby, it has to move from the mother's blood into the fetal circulation. This mainly happens through the placenta. It's important to know that the placenta doesn't completely block medicines. Many substances easily cross it, which is why drug safety in pregnancy is so important. Factors that affect how drugs cross the placenta. Factor 1, molecular weight. The size of the drug molecule matters. Smaller drugs cross the placenta quickly, but very large molecules, such as heparin, are too big to pass through. Factor 2, pH of the drug. The acidity or alkalinity of a drug also affects how easily it crosses. Weak acids and weak bases can slip through the placental membrane more readily. Factor 3, lipid solubility. Medicines that are fat-soluble move across the placenta more freely because the membrane itself is rich in lipids. Factor 4, drug absorption changes in pregnancy. Pregnancy slows down the stomach and intestines, which means medicines taken orally may be absorbed more slowly. Factor 5, drug distribution changes. As pregnancy progresses, the mother's blood volume goes up and her heart pumps more strongly. These changes affect how drugs move and distribute throughout her body. Factor 6, plasma protein binding. Certain medicines attach to proteins in the blood. Only the unbound portion can cross the placenta, so the more a drug is bound, the less it reaches the fetus. Factor 7, placental structure. The placenta changes throughout pregnancy. Its membrane becomes thinner as the months go by, making it easier for medicines to diffuse across. Factor 8, coexisting maternal diseases. Some medical conditions in the mother, such as hypertension or diabetes, can alter how much of a drug crosses the placenta, sometimes increasing it, sometimes reducing it. FDA pregnancy drug categories. Introduction to FDA pregnancy categories. To help guide safe prescribing, the FDA created pregnancy categories that show how risky a medicine might be for a developing baby. These range from A, which represents the safest level, to X, which means the drug should never be taken during pregnancy. Category A. Category A is the safest group. Research on pregnant women shows no increased risk to the fetus in early or later pregnancy. These medicines are generally considered safe throughout pregnancy. Category B. Category B drugs look safe overall. Either animal studies show no harm but human studies are lacking, or animals showed some risk but this wasn't seen in human research. So, these medicines are usually considered low risk. Category C. In Category C, animal studies have shown possible harm, and we don't have enough human data. These medicines should only be used when absolutely necessary, when the mother's benefit is greater than the possible risk to the baby. Category D. Category D includes drugs where we know for sure there is fetal risk. But sometimes, the mother's condition is severe or life-threatening, and safer alternatives don't work. In those cases, these medicines may still be prescribed. Category X. Category X drugs are strictly off-limits during pregnancy. Research and clinical experience clearly show they cause fetal abnormalities. The risks are far too high, and these medicines should not be used by women who are pregnant or may become pregnant. Teratogenic and potentially harmful drugs in pregnancy. Teratogenic and toxic drugs. Some medicines can interfere with fetal development and may cause serious birth defects. These include vitamin A derivatives, certain antibiotics, anti-cancer medicines, anticonvulsants, hormonal drugs, alcohol, and more. Such medications should be avoided during pregnancy unless absolutely necessary. Fetotoxic effects. How fetotoxic drugs affect the baby. These drugs may affect the baby in several ways. They can depress the baby's brain activity, cause withdrawal symptoms after delivery, trigger bleeding issues, or lead to low birth weight. Mothers who smoke or consume alcohol also increase the chances of these complications. Pharmacokinetic changes during pregnancy. Absorption changes. During pregnancy, digestion becomes slower. Because of this, medicines taken by mouth may take longer to be absorbed. Distribution changes. A pregnant woman's blood volume can rise dramatically. As the blood volume increases, medicines get diluted, affecting how they spread in the body. This sometimes means the dosage needs to be modified. Protein binding. Because serum proteins decrease during pregnancy, more of the drug stays in its free, active form. This can make some medicines act more strongly than usual. Renal, kidney, clearance. The kidneys become more active during pregnancy and filter blood faster. As a result, medicines cleared by the kidneys may exit the body sooner, and dosages may need adjustment. Hepatic, liver, clearance in pregnancy. The liver works differently during pregnancy. For many medicines, the rate at which the liver breaks them down increases. Because of this, certain drugs may need dose adjustments to maintain their effectiveness. Summary of changes during pregnancy. Pregnancy changes almost every system in the body. Digestion slows down, lung capacity improves, blood volume increases dramatically, and protein levels drop. The kidneys and liver become more active, which changes how the body absorbs, distributes, metabolizes, and removes medicines. Key safety principles. When prescribing during pregnancy, we follow several core principles. We involve the parents, avoid medications unless necessary, and especially try to avoid them in the first trimester. Some drugs, like Valproate, are known to be harmful and should be avoided. We also monitor newborns for any side effects, use the safest and simplest treatment plans, and document everything carefully. Drugs in lactation. Basics of drug use during breastfeeding. Soon after delivery, a mother's body starts returning to normal, and most medicines can go back to their usual dosages. Even though many drugs can pass into breast milk, the amount is often too small to cause any real harm. Breastfeeding remains extremely beneficial for both mother and child. When certain drugs in breast milk become a problem. However, some medicines move into breast milk more easily and can build up in the baby's body. Newborns have an immature liver, so they can't process drugs as well as adults. This may lead to issues like sedation, thyroid problems, or bone marrow suppression depending on the drug. Drug excretion into breast milk. When a nursing mother takes a medicine, her liver may activate or break it down. These forms of the drug can pass into breast milk. Prolactin, the hormone responsible for milk production, plays a major role in this process. Hormonal effects on prolactin. Drugs that lower prolactin levels. Some drugs decrease prolactin levels and may reduce breast milk production. These include ergot alkaloids, L-Dopa, and bromocriptine. Drugs that increase prolactin levels. On the other hand, some medicines increase prolactin levels and may raise breast milk production. Examples include metoclopramide, methyldopa, haloperidol, amphetamines, and phenothiazines. Examples of drugs that easily enter breast milk. Drugs that commonly pass into breast milk. Certain medicines pass into breast milk more easily and may influence the baby's nervous system. These include sedatives like benzodiazepines, some antidepressants and antipsychotics, metoclopramide, and anticholinergic drugs. They can make infants unusually sleepy or cause nervous system-related effects. Impact of medication decisions in pregnancy and lactation. Challenges in decision-making. Treatment decisions in pregnancy and breastfeeding are complex. Doctors must balance the mother's health with the baby's safety. Too much caution may prevent a woman from getting the treatment she really needs, while too little caution may expose the infant to harmful drugs. This makes reliable, up-to-date medical advice essential. Adverse drug reactions reported in breastfeed babies. Reported side effects in breastfeed infants. Some medicines have been linked with serious side effects in breastfeed babies, from sedation and feeding problems to severe conditions like heart abnormalities, seizures, or even death. This highlights why drug safety during breastfeeding must be assessed carefully. Thank you so much for watching this session. I hope this presentation helped you understand drug safety in pregnancy and breastfeeding in a clear and simple way. If you found this helpful, please support the channel by liking the video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing for more high-yield medical content. See you in the next lecture, and until then, keep learning and stay healthy.